The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. Overkill Derby products at OverkillDerby.com. Full Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone National. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Master. Reckless Abandon Derby apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Gotta love it when we start live. Brian, why don't you slide in here with us, and off we go with the midday update. midday update. Trying to make this thing work. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get Brian on the screen or not. It's pretty tight. There you go. That's excellent. Let's
really good.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
That just got weird. We're inside Landon Arena. The arena already taking form for tonight's program, national and team bracket round 2, rolling off tonight, along with the heats for the 80s mod class. The youth classes have both been taken off the schedule just because it's going to be basically too much to get through, not only on the track, but for the tech inspectors to get through. We've been tracking all the stuff and activities that we were following up on last night, with additional details coming to us today. The big one that everybody's been interested in, Harley Lewis, the gentleman that we were talking about here just as the show started, who broke his foot. He broke his leg, both the inner and outer bones.
Tibia and fibia, right?
And that foot was turned about 90 degrees from the direction that it was supposed to be. He's at the hospital now. We've had a couple conflicting reports on what the status is on him. Obviously, he won't be driving again this weekend.
No, definitely not.
No, but it sounds like he had his foot tangled up in the pedals or pressed, like bracing himself against the firewall, and it just snapped both of those bones like they were twigs. And means that car was pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the shots were hard.
Yeah, the shots were hard, and like I was talking about last night, and I'll tell everybody today, the way he had his seat set up in that car, it was way different than what I'm used to. I mean, he was like, I usually say, people sitting in the trunk, like sitting in the trunk. I mean, he was literally reclined, and he had the way he had that seat position and everything else, and that's why it was a shock for me to hear that happened, because they're kind of using the positioning like that to try to absorb more of the impact and stuff through different parts of your body.
Yep.
And Jesus. And that's where I said, I mean, either his feet got tangled up in the pedals or something else. And like we said, I mean, we got that one report of might have possibly been trying to brace himself on the impact. And that just shows how severe these impacts were and are going to be here, how hard the cars are.
Yeah, definitely.
Cars aren't soft here.
Definitely not.
There's some frantic work being done in the pits. The first one that I thought was probably the most remarkable was Cordell Hansen. Complete motor swap being done. A bumper got up over his, and it cleaned off the front of the motor. And I believe Cordell was doing, or was it Dylan Lane? I know Dylan Lane was flying all over the place trying to find a timing chain, because the water pump pulleys, the timing cover, the chain, everything was just hanging off the front of the motor. It ruined that power plant. Ruined it. Jeremy Blake driving with Matt Schilling's team in the process of doing a motor swap as well. I think Jaron Hirschman, or was it Staver? One of the two. Zach Staver doing a transmission replacement in the pits now. Mike Worth bananaed a drive shaft.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
That's what took him out so fast.
Did you see the drive shaft? It's a U. Brandon, it's.
I don't know what happened. It must have got like somehow it bound up.
That shot when he was down here in the opening thing, and he got a shot against the wall, and it almost looked like he was on the gas to try to move.
Try to go backwards, maybe.
Yep.
And he's pushing stupid horsepower.
Oh yeah,
and
no doubt.
I can just see. I can see where it would.
Yeah, the torque.
Would just twist. It's just a good thing, actually. I would think it's just a good thing.
It broke the drive shaft.
The drive shaft bent, and it didn't
tear up the transmission, or
right, tear the hogshead apart, tear the transmission, take the tail shaft right off the transmission. We've seen a few of those last night.
Oh yeah.
One or two.
But it's just crazy.
You know what's neat is like these are, if all your equipment works great together, it's so awesome and like indestructible. But just as equal, like if something starts to fall apart, it just blows stuff up.
Oh.
I mean, you're losing tons of money. I mean, you say just a drive shaft, it's $500.
$500.
Yes.
Yeah, it's $500, and they're probably that's plus who knows what happened to your yokes, and then it's. I don't know.
I'd rather spend $500 on a drive shaft than $2,000 on a tranny.
Definitely, or rear.
Yeah, because rears are $2,000 for a rear is a nice down payment, and then you go up from there.
Yeah,
but
and like it's not that it's tough to build a rear, but you don't have all the parts in your truck to go and
no,
putting a hogshead together out back,
And there's guys. I mean Jimmy's car. I mean Jimmy had fuel issues, and they're still buttoning it up. You know what I mean?
Still trying to get through it. Yeah.
And
what'd they think it was?
They've plugged, both fuel filters were plugged. Basically, it was a fuel issue. And I was talking to the one pit guy.
Was rusted up too.
The one pit guy I was talking to, he more or less said, he says, we took everything from the carburetor right back to the fuel cell and changed everything. And they can't change the fuel cell because the funny story with that was
somebody out back was changing the fuel cell.
Well,
a couple guys were.
He can't change that fuel cell specifically because I guess the guy that put the cage in, the cage has to be exactly 24 inches wide to put the fuel cell in, and the cage was like 23 and a half. So they literally
shoehorned it.
Yeah, they used a porta power to put the fuel cell in.
No.
Yes. That's crazy. So, so they changed everything and cleaned the tank out and changed everything out, and they have no. He says they're going to be good. Ciopa's, they're changing fuel tanks. Todd's changing a tranny. And but they're coming out. I talked to them. They're coming out. They're here. They're gonna run. They're putting the plates on, and they're gonna put a show on.
Ben, maybe could you explain what they were thinking on the fuel, because you had a really interesting point
on Ciopa's fuel,
on the fuel tanks, and what was happening.
Well,
that was interesting.
I was talking to Mark because Mark had a previous problem with this setup in
being Mark Ciopa.
Mark Ciopa, yes. Sorry. And same thing with Josh Corletto. Same thing. They had these specific style tanks that drew from the top, and their tanks are high. Their pumps are low. They're drawing fuel. They're trying to pull and push the fuel, and
see Sean Gokenhour.
They're not
in Virginia.
Yeah,
too.
they're not getting the throttle response that they normally get with the motors. And Mark Ciopa had a problem previously and to another event. I think it was his Nationals car. And before the Nationals, he switched the tank out to a gravity feed to where now all you're doing, you're pushing the fuel.
Right.
And he says it was night and day and had no issues with it. And so he says, basically I was down there and he says, is there anybody selling fuel cells? I'm like, there should be at least one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he went over to Baldwin's trailer, and they have fuel cells, stainless fuel cells there, and he went and got one then, and then I'm sure they'll be buying 3 fuel cells.
Yeah.
Because Steve wasn't having an issue, I guess, because whatever designed his tank. But that's the reasoning I got told why they're going to change the tanks, because the throttle response wasn't there. And he said we definitely need throttle response out there.
Yeah, I talked to him, and I talked to Steve for a few minutes out in the parking lot. They were out doing some work with the flatbeds and doing some framework. And then I talked to Mark when I came in. Both said the same thing. It's a different ball game. They aren't used to running true team derbies. And I said, hey, we made a mistake or two, but he said, we're learning. And everybody was happy. They did it. They feel good with the effort they put in last night. Like I told them, I said, I said they really represented the East Coast great. I mean, they came out here, first time ever being here, and
they felt like they had a chance at winning that.
Oh, without a doubt,
They did, definitely.
They did, yes.
he learned a lot in gearing too. They thought they thought
Yeah.
you go, dude, we run 513 gears.
Yep.
But it's just a totally different. And he says, we never thought we'd have to run a deeper gear.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there's guys running 600s here, and with nasty horsepower.
Yep.
And he goes, oh yeah, we seen it, we seen it, we seen it, we learned, and he says, next round is going to be different.
Smaller tires. You think they'll swap tires?
I don't know if they'll swap tires, but they're just
There's some interesting tires down in the vendors area, man.
yeah.
There's
There's
just some of those tires.
I got to go down there and walk around a little bit.
If Todd's running 513s, he has a super small tire on his, so he's probably in the mid fives, mid to upper fives.
Yeah.
I don't think with the
Mark
sedans though, they don't want to go much lower in the back. Would you think, Ben?
No.
Tire wise?
No. It's curious to see
Are you
because
talking about the El Camino?
Yeah.
it's going to be curious to see because they've just basically said we're running tonight's going to this next round's going to be different.
Yeah,
This next round is I'm nervous now because now they're saying we're going out here to do well and represent. Now screw it.
Yeah. We're coming out and holding it on the floor.
They got their fixture plates, and which all the other teams do have their fixture plates too. But the learning curve is kind of over.
What I mean? Yep, they know what to expect, and now they're going to be on it. 'Cause, they're great derby drivers. All four of those guys are great derby drivers, a lot of experience. I expect even more great things tonight.
And they've ran some nasty derbies.
Oh, yeah.
They've ran some hard-hitting shows, and every single one of them are like, dude, that was insane. That was
definitely
stupid hard.
Definitely.
And stupid high pace.
Oh, yeah.
Corletto met the steering wheel with his ribs.
Ooh.
Because he goes, I see why some of these guys run the shoulder straps.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I'm like, absolutely,
no doubt.
You don't want to be moving in there. And
it's the times you don't see them coming. Like that's the time your body takes the most
plenty
movement.
of those.
Oh yeah.
Guys that took it, not seeing it coming. Let's go down the qualifying bracket, the matchups that we're going to see tonight. The Crazy Iowans are going to be going up against Team X-Rated in the first heat of round 2. Crazy Iowans include Kevin Sarkison, Nick Farrick, Lane Farrick, and Nick Wolf, the Iowa Nick Wolf. And it was Farrick, Sarkison, and Wolf the last 3 running, and they're pairing against Twisted Intentions. So they did pretty well. They're going to be going up against X-Rated, which includes Justin Hill, Greg Neal, Derek Kleinen, and Mike Bradshaw. It was Tony Baker, Tony Horn, and those were the last 2 guys running in that pairing. And Hobbs not even able to answer the bell to get out there and help his teammates. Knockout Motorsports, KO Motorsports, in the second heat of round 2 in the qualifying bracket, going to go against Minnesota style.
Kunkel Motorsports. It's Kunkel Motorsports.
The shirt said Knockout.
It's true.
I don't think so.
Either way, we got the point across. both names work.
But they're getting ready, and they have their 4 cars are.
But both teams'
pristine.
4 cars are pretty good, right?
Yes.
Lancaster's ugly in the back.
Up.
Is it?
Oh yeah, they got a hold of the front passenger side front end pretty
Right
rough.
front corner on that. I remember the bumper was folded just about back to the control arms.
Yeah, they got a lot of work.
Eric Moulet looked really good in that heat. His caddy was hard. And he was
Yes.
driving
I asked
real
Eric what he thought about this. He goes, I liked it. They want to go nose to nose. I'll go nose to nose all night. It's like, you have had a concussion. Because you're not thinking right, sir.
I talked to him at the bar. He's a real good dude. Actually.
Yeah, very cool guy.
He's
California guy.
showed up with his wrist brace on. Broke his wrist
ready to go
in Utah.
Is that the guy I was talking to?
Yes,
At the bar.
The
the
guy's
first
like,
night.
The guy's like 6'5" and
He's
white
a
hair.
teacher. He's a teacher, right?
Gray hair.
I don't know, teacher. I don't know, but he was a really good dude. He's talking to us at the bar about.
Yeah.
He goes all over though.
Yes, I know. Okay. Yep.
But he was running great. I mean, he drove really well for his team. He was probably the best, smartest driver out there. He was really looking around as a team driver.
Mitch Carlson, he had his hands full a couple times getting hung up on the wall. And I tell you, Minnesota style did a nice job driving as a team.
Yep.
Yes.
Those 3 of those guys had driven together before.
That is virtually 2 fresh teams going at it.
Yes.
Pretty much. I mean, after fix-it plates and
Yeah.
stuff.
Kenny Rosno's car's not hurt.
No, not at all. He had to fix a ball joint, but
Yep.
the front of that is stout, and they were discussing what they were doing to the back.
in the back is not going in the dirt.
No. I assure you, with that, with what they're going to do, that isn't going to.
I saw
it's gonna be
Shaggy
tough.
this morning, and I said, "So looks like you owe Josh Decker $100." And he goes, "It ain't Sunday yet."
Fine.
I said, "So we're gonna go all weekend with this?" He goes, "It's going in the dirt." Okay. All right.
He offered the same bet to Brandon Tyson. Brandon told me he didn't have enough money to keep making all these bets, so we'll see. But it's
Told Shaggy you didn't have enough money to
yeah,
make.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask him where to check.
So you can frame it.
That's funny.
I don't even need the money. I just want to just put it up there. You know.
Midwest Mod Squad advancing to the winners portion in heat number 3. They were going Midwest Mod Squad. That's Paul Maurice and
Foon.
Gemini Stray Hollow.
T-Bird.
with, T-Bird. Those guys are going to be going up against Team Extreme. Colton, New Hampshire.
I was. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Brian.
I was actually, when I was walking over to talk to the KO Motorsports guys, Colton and his crew were parked, or the team were parked next to it. So I went over and introduced myself to Colton for a minute. And he seemed a little bummed about how the night went, but I said, it happens, buddy. I said, you'll be fine. He said, yeah, we just, got to get the core support pulled out. And I said, hey, you got a Mopar part on this with the front bumper. I said, you'll be all right. He kind of laughed, went back to work, but great kid.
To be honest,
guy.
as a
Sorry.
team
Did
weekend,
he tell you to stop being the annoying fan?
No, I felt like that earlier, a little bit after too.
but like first time you get hung on the wall, really probably for his team overall, it's probably a good thing because his caddy is going to be so hard in the front.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty. I didn't see. Was it Ben?
I don't think it was. I was looking at it and I was
all
trying
body
to.
work.
Yeah, I was trying to tell, but I couldn't. I mean, like I said, the core support and the supports for the core support were pushed back, so it was hard to tell. But it looked straight from where I could see.
He'll punish people tonight.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
And enjoy
Yeah.
He'll punish people.
Enjoy it
sure.
too.
You know, that's kind of it. If you get hung on the wall or something stupid, the second night, usually guys come out a little bit more aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're
Angry.
pissed about the night before, and it's like, I just
Angry.
want to junk stuff.
Yeah, because everybody's busting your balls
Yeah,
all night.
seriously.
Oh, you got put on the wall.
And you've been waiting months for this.
Yeah.
You didn't want to have that kind of night.
Yep.
So how about and I can't remember what heat it was. I almost want to say it was the I can't remember. I remember it was a Ford. It was off over here to our right. He was stuck on the wall, and one of his teammates came over, started trying to knock him off, and he just said, "Don't even worry."
Yeah,
about
yeah, I
it."
remember that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just waved them off.
Yep.
Well, there are sometimes, like, have you ever gone to help a buddy in a derby, right? Not even a team derby. You go
Yeah.
help a buddy, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, bam, you're up in the wall. And it's like, why did I even come over here to help him?
Well,
And that happens.
It happened with Coos, with Rick Clark. He
exactly.
he thankfully got me off, I don't know, 10 or 15 times that night, it felt like.
You're hanging out your passenger side window.
Yeah, and he did. And the last time in the feature, he hit me a couple times, and I finally just waved him on. I said, go ahead and go take care. And he did. It was great that he tried to help me out. But I'm like, I didn't want him to get hung up on me or something. And I'm
Exactly.
like,
No, you're
I
right,
would
Brian.
feel like the biggest jerk
Yes.
if that would have
Yeah,
happened.
Brian Tompkins. I'm the guy that got Rick Clark.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Rick could have
great.
won that.
Oh, without a doubt. A
absolutely.
little bit of
yeah.
mechanical misfortune, and he. Oh,
Yeah, he was
but
right there.
but I mean that's it's all part of the game. So
On the losers bracket, I mean, it's almost like sacrilege to say stuff like that.
Oh, no
These cars
kidding.
are just as good. And there's going to be some casualties here.
oh yeah,
There's going to be some guys that don't come out
Yep.
because their cars are just too bent. Twisted Intention is going to take on DTD. Team Diesel, which I thought they did fairly well, and their opening round qualifier going to go against Shanley Motorsport. So Hoffmeisters are out there in that second pairing. You know, they were within one team dropping out of going to the national bracket,
Gosh,
and
yeah.
now they're in the loser side, so they're going to have some work to do. And then Team Dark Gray and Green is going to go against the Minnesota.
how about second place side? We'll call it second place side. It sounds better.
It's the
Second place side.
Minnesota Outlaws. Which team was that?
Minnesota Outlaws. Give me a second. I'll pull that back up.
Purple and black?
No, I thought the Outlaws was the one with.
Black and blue, weren't they?
Minnesota Outlaws was Rick,
Oh, yeah,
Rick
yeah.
Quast, Brandon Quast, Tyler Quast, and
Yeah.
Brett Hagen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a strong team.
And they're on that side of the bracket. You know, it's a tough draw. I mean, you look at the effort Matt Raymer and that he put in. You know, we're going to get into some of these other teams too on this national side of things and they just had crazy runs. Tim Toddy and the Cadillac Blake Thompson jumping into that two-door Lincoln. It wasn't Cliff Yeager. After all, we need to go in and make that adjustment. Darren Hall also out there. They struggle a little bit with team driving in that pairing with when they were up against Maurice and Kostonik and Benjamin and Strelo, and that heat probably went longer than it had to.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
No doubt.
Now today they're being punished for it because they got to sit out there and work on those cars. You know?
Karma. There's been a lot of karma thrown around this
Yeah,
weekend.
I've heard that word a couple times.
So we're going to jump right into the winner side of the national team bracket. We've got 4 heats there. Team Black and White, and we alluded to them a few minutes ago, doing a motor swap, looking for pieces to do a ton of repairs. Cordell Hansen having problems on the front end of his car. Likewise, Dylan Lane, he was frantically looking for some parts on that team. They are head-to-head with the underdogs, the defending champions going toe-to-toe with the 2012 winners.
Jeez.
In the opening
That'll be
pairing.
good.
Yes.
That'll be good.
Yes.
Wow.
And that heat with Team Underdogs, when they went nose to nose, literally,
Yeah.
nose to nose, literally, with half of their other teammates
Yeah.
in qualifying heat number 2 in IFD Toast. IFD Toast heading to losers bracket. That heat featured, was it just 2 or was it 3? Just the 2 rollovers.
2 rollovers.
Luke Johnson flipped over, and then Darren
Darren
Monroe.
That was a great heat, I thought. You know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
didn't last long, but man,
There
it
was
they were flying.
there were some underlying currents there. You think?
Yeah.
You think?
Maybe a little bit.
But you know, remember the one time they pulled in front of him so no one else could hit him?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like
There's
so
Blom.
cool because it's like, okay, yeah, we'll battle, but also the respect levels there, like, please no one get hurt.
As soon
you know?
as Monroe went up on his side, he instantly, whoop, because the other guy, his teammates were coming,
Oh, yeah.
and he just, like, it was kind of like instinctive,
Save
just
him.
whoop, pulled
Yeah.
in front of him, and it just to, because I can't imagine. I mean,
It would be bad.
It would
I mean,
be-
you're hitting
you're
sheet
underneath.
metal.
Yeah, you're hitting
Yeah,
sheet metal underneath, and it's
Well,
just,
that was one of the things with rollover with Luke Johnson down here in the corner. He went driver's side into the dirt.
Yeah.
Darren Monroe,
All
the
the way
driver's
up
side
and
was
over.
well, yeah, but I'm saying the driver's side is down.
Yeah.
Scary.
Driver's side
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
down.
that's
So I
scary.
mean, like, let's say a back bumper comes across and they're basically hitting you in the legs. In the situation with Daryl, if I remember right, I think Daryl, it was driver's door. Driver's door was up.
yes,
When he
driver's
went
door
over.
was
So,
up. Yes,
I mean, obviously you don't want to take that shot because where these bumpers are made, it'll just rip right through the floor pan theoretically. But he had the driver's door up, so put him in a little bit better spot than maybe what Luke was in.
Plus, I mean, if you were rolled on the side, I mean, getting hit would be crazy because you're bugging out. First of all, I mean, do you take your seatbelt off? You're putting your hands in a weird spot. You're not even ready for it.
Have
I
you
mean,
ever been flipped over?
no.
No, you?
Never.
rolled over?
Knock on wood. I've
Yeah.
almost rolled myself a couple times, but
no,
I've
I've
never.
rolled people over.
I remember that. I was
What year was that, Chris?
I was like 9 years old.
No, that was 2006. No,
That's
that was 2000.
awesome. I was like, no.
It'd be
I was
awesome.
gonna say, Ben, how old?
It'd be awesome to see Ben throw you out of his booth. Chris, what are you doing out in the middle of the
I
track?
was at Imperial and at home, man. We've told the story a bunch of times.
Yeah,
Cut
you don't
that
have to
white-
say it again.
cut that white like Skylark or something. Hit that thing. It was rolling like a soccer ball.
End over.
The guy didn't want to get pinched between the roof and the seat, so he was hiding under the dash when it came to rest.
Mm.
He wasn't hurt, thankfully.
No.
No, he wasn't hurt. He was madder than a hornet. But
Oh,
And somehow it was my fault. I was on the back crying because my Imperial, nothing had went right with my Imperial. I come to the front and everybody wants to fight me. That was back in the day when I was.
Everybody wants to star punch Bald Bull.
Yeah, definitely star punch.
I was slightly thinner back then, so I wasn't quite like Bald Bull, and I had hair.
I don't remember that.
It was a while ago.
Did you used to have long hair?
Oh yeah,
Did
dude.
you ever listen to the music that he listens to?
Yeah, you had long hair. God, you got to find a picture real quick. Please find a
I
picture.
don't know if 2006 you had long hair.
oh, I had
Not in 2006. Back
I-
in
No,
the day.
ever.
Oh
Ever.
yeah.
I had stupid long hair.
Oh yeah, we both
Kind
did.
of like halfway down my back, long hair, like
Yeah,
rock
we
star
were-
shit.
Yeah, we all had long hair.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I don't like you guys
Metallica,
anymore.
Metallica, Megadeth type shit.
What?
Yeah,
I cannot picture that at all.
Guys, you guys are.
we're going way left, so let's
yeah,
get
stop
focused.
that. Stop all that. There are people like literally our
Yeah, we
viewership
just got
dropped
upset.
Like 15. Right
Yeah,
away,
we just
as soon as
dropped.
you guys started saying that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Heat number 2, IFD, the Whitaker wagon, Bobby Brockway, Ryan Durham,
Drove so
It's
great as a
bad
team.
company.
Dustin Ingram, going to be going head to head with Bad Company.
That'd be a good heat.
Doing a motor swap on Jeremy Blake's car. Schilling's car looks awesome.
Yeah.
And Jesse Ravitch, what a drive he had. He did a great job, and it was Schilling that actually ended that heat.
Yep.
And then Jesse
Yeah.
came and parked in behind him.
Schilling was waving goodbye, right?
no,
Was he the one that
that
did-
was
No.
Markley.
We're going to get to that.
Oh, that's right. I missed it. I'm sorry. I ruined
We're
your
gonna
whole
get to that
intro.
in a
I'm
few
sorry,
minutes.
Chris.
But last year, Schilling run a Cadillac, right? and got all the way to second place. Now comes back
thing
with a
you gotta remember
Cadillac.
And we didn't get deep into this either. The point that you're building on is Schilling's team brought 2 new drivers on this year from that second place team last year. But like you were saying with the Cadillac,
Well, let's say you run it and you find the bend. You know, you with this style of rules, you're almost finding where the pros and cons of the Cadillac.
Right.
He brought the same kind back. I'm telling you, he fixed all the issues that he had.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to tell you, Schilling is going to be extremely hard to beat.
Yep.
and they're going to be going head to head with arguably one of the favorites in this. You know,
Oh, yeah,
I
no
gotta
doubt.
believe between Dustin Ingram, who, as we talked about yesterday, has won everything, and then
Well, Bobby
in
and
previous versions,
Bobby and Bobby
Whitaker, Ryan have won this show back in 2011. So that's going to be fun to watch.
I loved how Bobby kept going into the corners, man. Tell me he doesn't know how to drive a wagon, dude.
Oh yeah,
We
and then just sending it backwards.
It was awesome.
Not an ounce of fear, man. He was sending
Like Todd
it.
Siopa never hit anybody with his back.
no.
But Bobby was just right off the bat, man. He pulled right in that corner. I'm like, heck yeah, man.
He wants to kind of somewhat half control
Oh yeah.
half control how them hits are going to be made on the back
True.
of his wagon right off
True.
the bat.
How many guys lost control of how their back ends were moving, and we saw frame rails bending like outside
Ugly.
the bodies,
Oh,
and
yeah.
past tires, and
We saw some.
whole rear ends shifted.
I
over.
was going to say there's a couple times where tires were completely outside of the wheel well. That is an incredible hit.
Yeah.
Oh, the-
but the rear end never broke loose.
Yeah.
Steve,
Well, with the steel attached.
Steve Siopa, the back of Steve Siopa's car went 6 ways to Sunday. I mean, when he made that back-to-back shot, it just blew completely funky.
How do you think that'll look when they bring it back?
Oh, it's going to
man?
look.
Yeah, I was over watching him work on it.
I would like to see it.
I think it'll be all right.
The El Camino.
I'd like to watch him fix it. I should have been on there.
You can go down there.
Yeah, I'd like to see some of that.
All right, I'll see you later on.
Do you want us to escort or
No.
You can't
You
leave
good?
because you're gonna come over and see.
Okay, that's fine.
Actually, just, it's fine. You can go. So WFO, think they want any fans?
Oh man, were they on the gas?
I had a million people this morning talk to me about it.
Oh, my
Mike
God.
Was just a bunch of people down here were just talking about it, and dude, the motors. I mean, but again, that's like those guys. Them against DMP was crazy because they know each other very well, and
Little bit.
and motor wise, my gosh, that heat was just intense.
And they just they love this.
Yeah.
They love this build. They love this pace. They love
Yeah.
the hard hitting. And I mean, they're just it's like chomping at the bit.
There's times you see them just hold the steering wheel, and it looks like they're literally just holding on in for the ride. Because you're just flying, man.
Josh Hall was the hammer in that lot, and Terrace Lacey was doing pretty well for himself as well, taking on a man down DMP team out there. DMP, even though it was 4-on-3, that was a pretty even heat too.
But I don't know if DMP will be back.
No, they're pretty wild.
We were talking about stuff that was bent funny. Kyle put away their
Oh,
car. It was
man.
ugly. Adam the manager. That's another one where the rear
And
end
somebody
shifted out.
told me that they heard that CJ had something terminal. They didn't say what, but they said they heard CJ had something terminal and wouldn't be back. I didn't get a chance to get that.
Well, he did change a tranny yesterday, and then he went out there and was out early.
Yeah.
It was almost immediate.
So
CJ
whether something's you definitely, I agree with you, Brian. Something's turned.
Yeah, I can't remember who asked me, but they kind of sounded like they didn't know if CJ would be back.
Well, think of this. I mean, if you have a car that's totally trashed, right? Your whole team's totally trashed, and then you bring it back the next night. Is it worth breaking stuff? Because you're going to pretty much, you don't. I mean, when do you call enough? I mean,
And that's the thing is that was brought to my attention when the year Bobby Brockway came to Bash for Cash, made it through his heat, got heavy hitter, but he's like, it's not worth it to me to go out and break a block or break a
Right.
transmission
Right.
or it's just sometimes you got to lick your wounds and regroup. And
Yep.
I mean, with the money these guys had, and I realize they know that there's a chance that that's going to happen, but I mean sometimes I think you got to step back and go, man, maybe I should enough's enough, and we'll relearn and regroup and come
is
back.
tough.
Very tough.
We
Yeah.
can account for 3 or 4 motor failures that were just mechanical or internal issues that weren't really, giant beam bumper slamming into blocks
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Well, there was the one on that black and purple team.
Yeah. He was literally it was like almost a Mike Brown status.
Oh yeah.
From last year, where it dropped. He was there, and I mean they bolt toward the front clip from
Chris,
one side halfway over.
That was the one Sam was saying that they ripped the whole front of the motor off.
Yeah.
The pulley and the fan and all that was ripped right off, and the timing chain cover and it was right down the timing chain.
How about the one car we saw out here that was dragging the actual steering box?
I know.
I've been to a couple derbies in my day, and I have never seen a steering box knocked off a car. That's pretty impressive.
That was the Busch Light heat, which we're about to talk about. Busch Light getting moved into the national bracket when the pink camo team pulled out. That opened the door for them to go head-to-head with the 2013 champions, E2 Sliders, Dustin Yanni, Joe Molman, and Bob Meyer, running to a three-car sweep. They ended up taking the top 3 spots, last 3 cars running. Lance Pritchett probably would have been in the mix. Cheesy was the last one running for Team Busch Light. Lance Pritchett had Craig Birkenpass on his roof, put it in reverse, backed up to the dirt, and put it in park. Just sat there and waited for clock to expire.
Smart driving.
And it flattened out that Riviera. I was in the pits. I didn't even see that car.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that is one I didn't see.
But I gotta say, that's probably not that tough of a fix. I mean,
no, I mean I would think.
I wonder if it screws up anything as far as how it's going to bend now.
Yeah,
because your roof has no value, or your side. I mean, you lose your pillar value now too, right, Ben? I mean,
I think they're gonna get it jacked up. They're gonna get the rear window bar back stuffed in there. I mean, it's definitely gonna have some sort of effect, but I think it'll definitely benefit the way they can control how it rolls now.
Yeah,
because it's like a flat plate now,
right?
Pretty much,
right.
You know.
Right.
With that the case, they hadn't done anything to the roof of that other than just put the window bar in. You prop it back up. The sheet metal's already been bent and twisted and everything like that. So you prop it back up. Now do you take a hammer and start doing some of that body line effect to that to try and stiffen it up?
No.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Nah, I wouldn't either. I'd say like
I
know what Ben's saying. Literally stuff it in there, spread that apart, and
just pump the center of it up.
Yeah.
Put a bar in there, and then just start body from your speaker deck back. Just start working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they did. That is. I lost track of it. I think that's the 3rd round.
You think we'll see any wagons, sedagon?
I talked to Bobby Whitaker.
Doing some mathematics on those pillars.
I talked to Bobby Whitaker, and I said, obviously, I don't know anything about these, and you do. I said, are you able to sedagon it? And he said last year they weren't allowed to, but he said he was going to go talk to Sam. And he came back and he said Sam was going to talk to the officials and they would let him know. When I came through the last time, it hadn't been sedagoned yet. So
the right side pillar had gone bad, but the left side was still pretty good.
Yeah. So I don't know if he had been told he couldn't sedagon it or they just hadn't reached the decision yet and let him know. But
what I was thinking was more for Todd's car because, like, remember Todd's sides got pushed in real far? Mm-hmm. If you could push that down there and kind of spread it out, it could just be. I was thinking for Todd's maybe.
Todd's got ripped open like a tuna fish can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's kind of a big push for me in my version of my eyes of how they had their tank protectors in their tank mounts, the way they kind of came back a little bit and then angled back instead of straight angled back.
Yep.
It's pushed right to that. It's pushed right to that tube. I mean, literally. So, to me, that's I like that as a safety aspect of it. I mean,
sure.
As an inspector aspect of it, yes, it has all sorts of different purposes, but all it takes, I mean, is that one time. I mean, we've seen some serious fuel issues.
Oh
just in one night.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jimmy Johnson had some of those issues, as you were just saying. They're going to go into heat number 4 in the winners bracket against Mile High Contracting, who right now is riding a mile high. I mean, that is a pretty happy group of drivers. Team Kansas, Chad Markley, as you were talking about earlier, catching a couple drivers down here against the wall and waving to them as he backed away. He was feeling awful good, and Chicken
awesome.
Doing a great job in his car, the Y2K, Justin Montgomery. They sort of led the charge for Team Kansas getting into the next round, and Jimmy's going out there with a fresh car that has 4 fix-it plates.
Yeah,
has Team Kansas won this event before?
I don't believe they have.
I was just wondering.
I know we've talked to Jimmy about that before. I'm not sure about 2010.
I don't know either. I think they did.
You think so?
I don't know. I don't want to say yeah. I thought they did.
I don't think they did.
Jimmy's won a lot of things, though. You
Yeah,
know, I
he's,
mean,
he's done all right for himself over the
Yeah,
years.
to go fresh into the next round is big. I mean,
Well,
Kansas can be tough.
Yeah, and for that team, they only actually really had, because I was talking to them over. They only really had one car. They had a lot of work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, one had a steering issue. Jimmy's
Urlacher had a steering issue.
Jimmy's had just basically what we've been talking about, the fuel, and like I said, there's only one car.
Urlacher took like
only
a
booger
bunch of
car.
shots, but his car really didn't look that bad pulling off the track. You know, he was taking shots for a while there when the steering was screwed up, but it
Over
didn't
there
look that
against
bad.
against the berm. They've done a ton of work to the track. Unfortunately, we're not able to run a second camera in the situation that we've got inside here, and so I can't really show you the track. They've done a ton of work
You couldn't get that done?
inside here. No, I was having some stream quality issues, so I tried to detune it and just went with one camera and tried to make the best we could. The last pairing is against Mile High Contracting. TJ McPhee, Sam Bandow, Mont Sweat, and Nick Wolf, Utah Nick Wolf. Interesting way that whole thing played out. Ryan Songalewski had some problems over in the corner. He gets sunk. Craig LeManager in car number 200 ends up getting a black flag for driver's door hit. I know that there must have been 150 driver's door hits, but in the drivers meeting, the drivers are told, if you don't want to take a driver's door hit, or excuse me, if you don't want to take a hit on your front wheels and you give up the driver's door, we're not going to call it. But if you come from another zip code and you can control the situation, there's a guy against the blocks or a guy that's not moving, who's a vulnerable receiver essentially, and you go center of your bumper to the center of their driver's door, you're going to get sticked. Now, the rest of the night isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about that heat.
Okay.
And that was the case where that guy got disqualified. This is, as you can see, this is very fast-paced. There's officials all over the place. We can argue all day whether some of these glancing and some of these off-center shots that were on the driver's doors were or weren't ones that justified being sticked. But, you know, at the end of the day, the one that got his stick broke was Craig LeManager.
Right, and the sad part about it is everybody. We sit up here. We've seen a ton of driver's door shots. You know, everybody sees everywhere. Sits up in the stands, you see driver's door shots. That's fine. Not fine, but I mean,
It happens.
It happens. The way I looked at it is this was a big focal point because in my eyes, personally, my personal opinion is that was a game changer in that whole heat for that team.
Totally.
And that's why I feel. I mean, everybody's going to think I'm a dick or a jerk or whatever for saying it, but
No.
I think that's why everybody's focusing on that so hard and
Game changer for sure, man.
and being negative towards, you know, the calls. If he had been in there, it could have changed the whole outcome. You know, yes and no.
Well, let's be honest.
But-
Those Cordobas were bending.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Bending.
and to be
In funny ways.
And to be honest with you, the Utah guys, Mont Sweat, Nick Wolf,
TJ.
and TJ McPhee, all are back there saying, that's no big deal. They got another heat in them.
Really?
Yes. And them things are bent 6 ways to Sunday. Everything,
Interesting.
stuff went funky, stuff went here. But they're used to driving big tracks. They're used to driving cars that look like that.
Yeah.
Back out into the last
point.
chance, the grudge, or into the feature.
Good point.
So in their minds, they're confident
good
with
shape.
yeah.
they're confident with their bills. One more time, we got another run, one more go in them, which is just it's awesome.
Wow, that's cool.
And then they have to go again.
Right. If they
Which-
win, they go.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So Sam, you know, Bandow, you know, he's been in this environment before. He's kind of like, you know, his car looks the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And then we got looking at it, and it's like, yep, it looks good. Yeah, is it the best? Looks are deceiving on it right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's super happy the
Oh,
way
yeah.
the build went. He's ecstatic the way the way the heat turned out, from last year to this year, it's
He was
kind of a
due,
sweet
man. I
revenge.
mean,
Yeah, he's had
he
a
was
lot of bad luck over the years.
He was so confident. I mean, the last few weeks, he's like, I love my team. My team is going to
Yeah.
be so good. I know we're going to do well, and it showed on the track. It was kind of cool. And Sam drove really good because Sam, if you remember at the beginning, got right up to nose with Ryan.
Yep.
And I think Ryan was going to be the punisher out there,
Oh, yeah.
so he almost slowed him down and let his
Right.
teammates go then duke it out. And then when
Right.
Craig got knocked out, I mean, like it actually worked out really good for Sam's team.
And that's what he said. That was kind of what his game plan was. Is he was going to stick on certain
Just
ones
gonna
for glue, like
Painted
glue.
the car's white because that's the color of glue.
Yep.
And let the others do their job. And at the
They
end,
got the Utah track a couple times. Take a
Yeah,
lap
they
and
got
pick
the
their
circle
shot.
track.
Oh, boy, did they.
That was cool.
But then again, at the end of that heat, we had issues. Which could go either way. You could look at it from two different ways.
Oh, there's two very different lines of thought right now.
Right.
The way that ended. And, I
Right.
mean, obviously, it's the elephant in the room that we haven't acknowledged yet. It's the situation with Don Santel going into a hard left-hand turn and breaking his stick down while being struck by
Mont Sweat.
Mont Sweat, and then it was Nick Wolf that came across the track, I think, and tagged him again. Or was it?
No, it was,
No,
Mont.
it was
No,
all
it was
Mont.
Mont.
It was all Mont.
Because-
Mont hit him, circled around, hit him again.
No, he went back at it. He got hit down here, and then Don kind of chased him, and then they hit here, and then they hit a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of that can be perceived many different.
I thought maybe Sam was chasing him, and Mont came from down
No.
there and hit him after he broke the stick.
No.
No, many different ways, perceptions and stories, but people got to realize the way these guys run in Utah. When they start an arena shot, if you haven't broke your stick yet, and they're halfway across the arena, and then you break your stick, then
You're still gonna get it.
legally going to eat that shot.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And that's what
actually.
these guys. Well, no, that's
Unless
what
you're receiving it.
You got to be smarter before
right.
it.
These guys are in the heat of the moment. They're resorting back to their driving style from their home turf driving style,
Yep.
and he's seen nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Santel breaks his stick. Then I personally think, because Santel is a super laid back guy,
Yeah.
Big
very
time.
patient. I think personally, my opinion is he circled like that because Mont was backing up
Oh,
to
yeah.
come again.
No doubt.
The front of that Cordoba was, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're sitting in there. I mean, you don't know what their actual point of view is, but in my opinion is he sees a car down the other end, he might not be able to see totally the full car.
Yep.
But Santel circled because, like, dude, you ain't hitting me like that again.
Yeah.
My nose is going out there if you're going to hit me like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then just stuff went south after that.
Yeah.
I mean,
But did it go south? I mean, the red flag and the horn was sounding, obviously, so you can say who was right and wrong there, because Don hadn't lifted off the throttle, and nor did Mont. And then Don gets out of the car, he's upset. But at the end of the day, we talked about how Don is such a laid back guy. Within 5 minutes after that, he was
less
shaking
than
hands
that.
with
Oh
him.
yeah,
Less
yeah,
than
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Everybody was cool after that. Tempers flare. I mean, and everybody kind of took a timeout break, and everything was cool.
And Don's been around a long time. If Mont were to
He's
come up
won
to him
mayhem
and
3 times. You gotta be-
if you come up to him and say like, "Hey, where I'm from, you can't break your stick and make me break. That's not what I do." I bet
Yeah.
Don would be like, "Okay, well, I guess I understand. I guess if that's what you've been doing your whole life, well, then I didn't know that." And I bet I never heard that.
Yeah.
But I believe it.
Yeah.
And the exciting thing for me about this whole thing with those guys actually losing, Neritz, Brodzinski, Solonski, and them guys
We're gonna get into that in
losing.
a minute.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. No.
Finish your thoughts.
No, I
We're
won't
gonna-
finish.
No, I want you to set this up.
Okay, well, basically,
You're setting it up.
the exciting thing of this for me is these guys are going when they come through the bracket now, they're coming through the bracket swinging.
Oh, yeah.
For
Yeah.
the fences.
Oh, yeah.
And
Home runs.
we all know these guys drive just as hard as anybody here, and it's gonna be super exciting for everybody, the fans and everybody.
Ben and I were over, and one of the first guys we saw as we were coming into the barn where they work on him was Jason Brodzinski. And we discussed the issues he had, and then
Broke the fuel cap off.
Yeah.
And he
Yes.
said he made a huge mistake driving as long as he did.
we
both-
talked about it.
Yeah.
And
He was
well, then,
scared too.
Well, we talked about it, and we got up front.
He's never scared.
And
Wow.
he pointed the bumper out,
Yeah.
and he goes, I'll tell you what, he goes, them Cordobas, because the front, and I don't, Ben, what's the steel? Is it half inch or
Half inch, yeah.
And it's caved in. I mean, it's so when TJ hit him, they hit on an angle, but it bent that bumper. I mean, that's a testament for how hard they built those Cordobas and how hard he was driving.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason was impressed. He's
Yes.
like, them guys were bringing it. So,
And he
I mean,
wasn't, and that's
That's
what he
cool.
said. It was one of them deals. He goes, how can I be mad?
Yeah.
I'm not mad. He goes, weird stuff happened. You
Yeah.
know, we
Yep.
got beat.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just I want to get this stuff fixed, and that's when I said, yeah, you guys are gonna be something coming up through the bracket now. You know, And-
My high contracting WFO. Obviously, I think those were the upsets of the night.
Yes.
Those were the
Yeah.
surprises to Minnesota style. Getting a win out of their heat was probably a little bit of a surprise too. But you're talking about near it. I saw Jeff Baldwin down there in on the vendors row, and he's already making room in the trailer to take Ryan Sangalewski's motorhome.
oh,
Yeah,
Ryan
because
had issues.
No, because Ryan's going to blow that thing.
Oh.
up.
Yeah.
actually, yes, Ryan
Oh,
did.
it did?
Ryan did. Jason said Ryan was upset because the motor did not run right.
Oh, really?
His motor was not right. He was having motor issues.
I didn't know.
No,
I
it did.
didn't know that.
Remember, he pulled out and it stalled. Then,
Yeah,
as soon as the heat started, he went right here and stalled.
It took a minute, yeah.
That's-
So I think-
you know, Jason said that. Jason said Ryan had motor issues, and
Actually, I wasn't staging that. It's something to beat up on Jeff about.
no,
No,
I'm not.
no,
beating,
no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
beating up.
No, no,
It's
no.
not,
No, not at all,
dude, it's
man.
not- this
Who
is
knows
not-
if it was his fault?
If
you know?
people think I'm beating up on Jeff Baldwin by saying he had engine issues,
No.
they're being dicks.
Yeah.
Because
No.
point blank, every engine builder here basically has issues at one point or another.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
then
the point
nobody's-
that when they're in hard cars like that, and that was a fresh motor, and by Ryan saying I have motor issues, it might be because it wasn't,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
it wasn't
There.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
there. You know, it might have burped on him. You know, there might not be absolutely anything wrong with it, but just in his eyes, something was wrong with it, and
Yeah,
that's,
I mean,
what we were told.
It could be a carburetor trouble.
And
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
we're
It could
told.
be anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
Near. Oh, I've upset Ben. I didn't mean.
no, it's just
Now that when
people-
Jason went across the track though, and we could see the gas splashing in the back, I heard Ben yell
Oh,
when
yeah.
he was
But
here.
I heard Ben yelling down here, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going
as soon
on.
as he got hit, as soon as he took that side shot, all I seen it looked like somebody had the gas pump hose out the side of the driver's side of the car, and I'm like, dude, that's gas. He just broke the fuel cell, which I could not understand how he broke the fuel cell.
Yeah, it
was-
knocked the
But
neck off it.
It was
Yeah.
actually the way they had it set in there, and the way the snout came up for the cap. It just all I can think is the sheer hit that he took and how hard it was hit. It broke, and as he's going down the track, I'm watching gas come out the side, gallon come out the side, splashing over his helmet
Yeah, scary.
into the cockpit, and it's like, dude. And then when we talked to him, when we went over to talk to him, he goes, "Yeah, I knew it. And I should have stopped." And I'm like, Brian and I are like, "Yeah," and he's like, you know, and I think he's kind of upset with himself.
Oh yeah, no
You know,
doubt, no
but-
doubt.
But everybody's in that moment.
But I mean, it's in the moment. I
You're
mean,
in
we've
that
all done.
moment.
You know, there's been times in the car we've all should have shut off and didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember.
Yes.
You know, I remember getting hit at Waterloo, and when I came to, I was sitting on the. I remember looking up and going, "Man, why is the pillar so far away?" Then I pulled myself back up in the seat, and I knew I was no doubt I knew I was concussed, and I was dumb enough to keep going. But I mean, we all have made bad choices, and
That's just a testament of how hard and fast paced. Because when you're watching this on TV, it's giving it no justice
Yeah.
whatsoever.
So
Yeah.
Ben, because Ben showed me those gas tanks, they were like half-inch steel wrapped
No.
around.
1-inch plate. I'm not. I don't really want to go into the full thing. because
Okay,
they-
no.
they
What I
have
was going to
certain
ask
things.
was they put a tank down inside it, right? And then there was a
Yes.
top piece and the
Yes.
filler neck come up, and you
Yes.
think that
I
it
think-
flexed enough to rip the filler neck off?
Or did the bottom inside tank come loose?
I
I
think
can't say 100% how it was built, how tight it was fitted
Right,
in there.
right.
If it was personally me building that, I would have made that so there was like no, like it was like a sleeve going down in there. You know,
Sure.
fit right in there.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can think of is possibly there was maybe a minimal amount of slop.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly it could have, with the impact, could have some inside shifted just some to make that. I mean, like I said, you're talking so much sheer force and G force. You don't know. Maybe it was in there tight and just the weight of the cap on that filler neck. Made it sheer.
Yep.
Nobody's really gonna know. I mean, you're never really gonna know. It's shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just.
I think
it amazed me. It amazed me to just see something like that happen.
I've never seen it like that. I've never seen gas splashing.
We talk about seam splitting, and stuff like that, and how tanks are mounted different and everything else. And literally, I seen that, and I'm like, that's the shit. When I make another gas tank holder, I'm making one just like that.
Yep.
And because it's indestructible. But then here we go. Now we look at that. It's like, I don't know.
No, you're right. There was crazy, really.
But those guys, I can't say it enough. Those guys are just going to be super awesome to watch all the way up through.
Now, what do you do today though? Like now you're in the pits. I mean, you got to like hose that whole car. It's dangerous, right? That car is like a big.
I was just thinking, like Ben said, if with getting on his helmet and his jacket,
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't feel. I would think I would probably try to find replacements.
Or cleaned and like I said to Brian, I really think, because that's a real critical thing. I know guys weren't even supposed to go near their cars last night, but I feel personally, as Sam as a promoter, I feel would have allowed them at least pull the hose to drain that tank.
Yeah.
To at least
get the gas out of there,
let stuff evaporate out.
Yeah.
Throw a speedy dry in there. Do something.
Yeah.
To at least try to get the fumes and evaporate it out, because otherwise your buildings are gonna you'll be right full of gas fumes.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Right.
Guys go in there and fire torches up first in the morning.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's a good idea. Team Near It draws Team Overkill in the fourth heat on the loser side of the bracket.
Second
place bracket. Team Overkill, what a run they had.
Yeah.
Matt Rosno, the Mannering car. Did you get a chance to get in the pits and see that?
I didn't.
It was ugly. I mean, that thing was just obliterated all over the place, and they're trying to put it back together.
Yeah.
They're going to try and get that thing back out.
That was like a mid Rivy or something, right?
Yeah.
That's when I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, that was so
nose-
much work in that car.
And
Right, the tail was in the ground, the nose is ugly, the tires are laid over. Right,
the
is that
hood,
the one?
the hood was higher than the roof. I
Ugh.
mean,
yeah.
but he kept that thing going. He limped it down, and that team, they had a tough matchup.
Mhm.
And sure enough, took a lot of abuse. So they're going to be playing against Team Near It, Team Ski Inc. In the opening heat, it's going to be JYD against
Nice.
Toast IFD.
Wow. Oof.
That's going to be a great heat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, Hirschman's motor. Booger's motor. Hirschman's, man. Oh, man. And I know worse
My
sounds
ears are still
exactly.
ringing.
I love it. I love it.
Josh was online, and he
Figured out where to get a motor.
Yeah, he's got 17 people telling him where. To
I had
find
some
these
really
things.
good ideas, and things I wouldn't have even known,
He
but
was on
they're out there.
Craigslist looking at sportsman motors from up at home.
Let me ask you guys this seriously, and Ben, this is a serious question. You take a motor and you build it, right? And you get it. And we've all had a motor that you ran, and it wasn't good. You didn't like it. It was like it got hot. You didn't like it. Sometimes you buy these expensive motors. What if you got one and didn't like it, right? What if it got hot or whatever? Wouldn't you almost trust more a motor that like somebody had driven, moved, ran? Like even these race car ones, they run a bunch of laps. Yes, they're worn, but aren't they proven also?
I would say yeah. I mean, that's and even my dad and I have talked back in the day about building a motor, and my dad's a old school car guy, and he said it makes more sense to me that something that's a little worn out has got more the tolerances are a little
Correct.
and there isn't as stuff isn't as tight, and he goes, I would think that would make less heat, and the race car guys generally I assume with the crates they run them X number of laps, and since they can't be rebuilt, you sell them.
And that's that when you start getting into talking like you're talking the crate motors and in the sealed motors, buying them, yes, that I would be more apt to get the ones that are broken, sort of say.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys are building these motors, the fresh motors. I mean, you're talking thermal coatings. You're talking all the new state of the art stuff.
I agree.
To reduce frictions.
That's a good point.
To add cooling and everything else. So that so the actual, like Brian was saying, the old school, old school back in the day, building a fresh motor before they had all the thermal coatings and all the new technology with the friction reducers and everything else. And
Well, what Jeff was saying yesterday, he's done so much R&D
right.
that for derbying specific. So you're trying to take a motor that was built for circle track and just take it out on a racetrack. But on the other side, that's what Hirschman did, and it sounds nasty.
Right.
I don't know, but they're only running for 4 minutes. They're not running 45 minutes like a regular derby.
Yeah, there's a big difference. I mean, look, another one. He's been doing R&D research for derby motors forever. And right there on that team we just talked about, Bobby Whitaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
point proven.
He's done a lot.
Whitakers have been more or less testers for Grop for years, and it's just, I don't know. It's kind of a I guess it depends on what type of show, what area. If you're gonna run events like this, where anywhere from 5 minutes to 50-some second heats, fast paced. You want high horsepower, fast response. That's one thing. You go to a Bash for Cash, Metal Mayhem type deal where endurance is there. You want something that's gonna
reliable
for 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half or whatever. That's one thing. Back our area, any motor pretty much would work. Because
there's
we don't run nothing over a half hour.
Tell me it wouldn't be fun to hear one of them around our house though.
Oh,
just
dude,
doing donuts. Oh
dude,
yeah, the crowd would be on their feet. Like, listen, remember DeBevick? Like DeBevick's motor was real nasty at Coos in the kicker class, and I had so many people tell me like that was awesome watching him do donuts because it was ear piercing.
Yeah,
my ears are still ringing.
It was crazy.
Yep.
The other thing that you were talking about, going and buying a motor, you can only be as confident in the product you're buying as the seller is truthful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You don't know what kind of hell that thing's been through. He can tell you whatever you want.
Yeah, it's only went 50 laps. Yeah, multiplied by 20.
Well, I know my brother's big block's 898 horse. If you want to buy that off and put in a derby car,
That'd be great.
No, not a good idea.
Here's put in a shocker.
I've been after my uncle to get a sprint car motor for years, and he just laughs at me and walks away.
Ray?
Yeah, my uncle Ramey.
What's one of them cost, man?
I'm not sure what the actual cost is. I think the Hillborn injection that sits on top of it cost more than most people's.
Well, the big blocks, those start as 496s.
Chrysler Chevys.
No, they're modified motor.
They go off the 454 block. They
finish out.
472 because you can take them 60 over, so it's like 470.
Yeah, and the Sprinter's is what, a 360.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's 454, 60 over, so it's right around 472. They give you a little bit of leeway when they tech them. But
the sprint car that Ray drove was a 360.
Yeah, 360.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a 360. But those are only like $50,000, man.
Yeah.
I know a pulling guy that had a $55,000 motor, and he would tell me like he would go pull tractors, and if he won, he got like $300. And it's like, what?
It's not about the money, man. It's all about the.
Well, that gap is gigantic.
Yeah,
it's going to take you 40 years to every weekend win.
We touched quite a bit on the Siopas earlier. They are paired up against Team No Names, the pink and black team, who got took a lot of damage in their heat with the other IFD team, but.
I'd say
it's
like
all
most
fixable stuff.
Yeah, tires.
They took a lot of damage and they broke a couple axles.
A-arms, but really fronts look pretty straight. I think they'll be okay. The back of that shocker kind of got ripped open.
Kinda?
Yeah, the back bumper fell off, but that's what happens when you get down. But remember, Ben, the year before, there was a blue shocker, and he got shelved, and he was lasting forever because the rail stayed straight. Yeah, people were shelving him, but...
Richard Gomat.
Right? I mean... Yep. Now, I didn't see on that pink one, did they get into the frame rails if they got them rails bending? I've seen guys shelf them and the cars just go forever. Because them rails are getting down and hitting tires and A-arms and stuff.
Yep.
And the third and final heat, because we already touched on overkill and near it, the third heat in that second place bracket, DMP against Busch Light. DMP, 3 cars at best, if they come out. Not really sure what the situation is going to be there. And then we've also got Busch Light, who they've got to do some work on Jamie Fiedler's motor because he was honing on it. It sounded great. He was revving the motor on the line. He came off the line, drove around the track, got up to the top corner, and we saw a poof of fire, and that was it.
Yeah, killed every bug in 3 states.
Oh, we forgot. I think it was on the Overkill team where they were honing on it so hard that the oil was catching on fire, being sucked up through the evac system.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, there's a few cars doing that because they run the stack protectors and a lot of times something will get pushed out and collected in there and then catch on fire. But yeah, DMP. I mean, technically, 2 out of the 3 cars took a lot of damage.
Yes.
And CJ's car. I mean, like we talked earlier, something crazy happened right off the bat. He broke his stick, and then I can't say I don't know if he actually did or he just timed out. But Puddlewater's car was.
That was a 2-door Lincoln.
They
right?
were, yeah,
2-door football
Yeah,
Lincoln,
yeah.
And the left rear corner of that thing was just folded. The whole behind the post, the whole rear end, like the frame and everything, was just shifted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was literally taking track shots.
Yeah.
At the very end.
Yep.
He did not want to break his stick. CG was telling him, break your stick off. I see him motion like this, and he just kept working, wanting to get out of that corner. And Hall, I think, put the last shot on him. Then
Yep.
Yeah.
he backed to the other end and just let her eat.
I'll be right back.
Yep. Very fast.
Hold on tight. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
We've seen that before.
Yes, Josh has seen that before.
Many times.
Many times.
It's the worst.
I think Ben may have seen that once. I think I'm the only one that hasn't got that hand signal once.
You won't.
I hope not. I'm not a fan of that.
You won't.
It makes you so mad.
I think it was pretty funny, some of the comments that were getting online. Like, one guy just said, I just want to see Decker get his shit jumped. I just want to see him get his shit jumped. And the thing is Josh has had his shit jumped like a million times.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
I don't even care.
It's nothing.
It's fun. I've been junked so many times. Probably like 100, right? I mean, so many times.
Like 100.
Seriously, I've been junked a lot of times. I mean, there was times. One time I took 6 cars to my local county fair, and the local guys there junked every single one. I didn't even qualify for my feature. I mean, and they laughed about it. They were beating the hell out of
They're
me.
actually laughing right now.
I bet you I can guess who it was, and it'll only take me half a guess.
Go, and they did. They junked me.
You're going to need multiple guesses because there's multiple names.
There was just times where I was just getting worked, like I was the rookie, and listen, I was young and mouthy, and
Remember back
they
when
taught
you were-
me some lessons.
Back when you were friends with Dan Godfrey?
Never. Never. Not once.
You were friends with Dan Godfrey when you put on that incredible show at your King's Old School show.
Well, he did good there. He did real good there. It's funny because sometimes you don't like people in a younger age, but as you get older, you realize like people are good. You don't have to hate people forever.
Josh, that's called maturity.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, when you get old like Ben and I, you'll figure that out.
I'll take it.
You're getting there.
Yeah,
You're
thanks.
growing. You're
Thanks,
growing as a
man.
person.
Thank you.
If you keep going, you're going to have to shave like twice a week soon.
Really? Am I getting there?
No,
Okay.
no, not even close. You got to work up to like 6 times a year before you worry about Facebook. Inspection for the 80s mod class going on again. The youth cars being pulled out of the evening's program and shifting those over to Saturday because we are going to probably be here for a while tonight, just like we were last night. I'm hoping that in the scuttlebutt of the day I can track down a couple bottles of water to keep up here because my voice was fried out by the time we were done.
One thing I wanted to touch on, and it's not completely dumb related, but I gotta tell the fans that are out there and paying attention and listening. The Kansas Expo Center is huge. It's a 10,000 seat arena. And they bring in, I can't tell you how many loads of dirt. And they water it down, but throughout the night it dries out in the dust that's in this place. It's a dusty facility. We come in this morning, they're not only sweeping, they were mopping. I mean, did they keep this place as clean as they are? I mean, hats off to the janitorial staff. I mean, this place is great. I mean, we came in at 9 o'clock and it's now 1 o'clock here. Oh, we came about 8:30 and they're done. And the place is spotless, ready to go. I mean, what a great job by this crew.
The fans did a pretty nice job too. I mean, you could see how hard they were when they lit that fuel on fire.
Oh yeah, it was
curling right over.
Yeah, it was great.
Fire right up.
It was. You could tell though too when the old Midwestern weather started cooling off last night. You could feel it in here because they'd open that door and the temperature would go whoop, whoop. But it was awesome, man. what a great night. I mean, it was just. I got to say everything we hoped for. I mean, everything we hoped for, and then a little bit
These
more.
were great,
We got
man.
some great surprises out of it.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Look at the matchups that those matchups have led us to.
Right.
We had a great night of action on deck.
And again, I mean, we haven't addressed it, but obviously there were some issues last night with getting the pay-per-view going. But I mean, for the fans at home, I don't think it could have been handled any better. I mean, they said, okay, we're not starting until a pay-per-view because so many people had paid to watch it, and I think it was a great thing a great call that Sam Lame has made. I mean, because let's be really honest, and some people do business like this. He could have said, I got the money, let's go. Really, honestly, he could have. You get it fixed, I'm not holding up my show. But Sam said, we are not starting until. And
Cool.
I thought that was a great thing to do. And the tech guys, I mean, they were working hard. And Chris,
That's an understatement.
Yeah, Chris definitely helped him out with some information. But, all the way around, I mean, a couple bumps in the road, but I think tonight's going to go good, I hope. And
Well, if it's any indication, just to see, because I like to test things,
really?
just to see, I didn't turn our hotspot on today, and I tapped into the Kansas Expo Center's
Really?
internet signal, which today was pinging out of Topeka, Kansas, and not 3 cities over like it was yesterday.
Right.
Which
That's cool.
but don't take that out of context. I know we're getting real geeky here, and Josh gets bored. You can see him
Very
already looking
bored.
around.
Very bored.
But
Josh is ready for
it's,
lunch.
It's
Yes.
it's not uncommon for us to be in a particular city and for our internet origin to be from
Somewhere else.
someplace, could be several hundred miles away. But we've had a solid set of bars, and we've had no real issues whatsoever. We haven't dropped any frames on our stuff. Obviously, we're streaming much slower than what they are. So, hopefully this is a sign of good things to come.
Definitely.
And I'm probably gonna stick my foot in my mouth on this one, but
Do it.
So
it-
don't.
Do
no,
it.
no,
Do
no,
it.
no. In defense to this place, you just pretty much explained it. In defense for you, and Josh and Brian, nobody ever sees me with my phone, but the people blowing up the phones and the messages and everything else of what's going on. We thought you're doing this and everything else. No, this Kansas Expo Center is the one doing the pay-per-view. They're the one handling it. And
We just talked.
we talk in, maybe I'm beating a dead horse, but Chris explained it.
Now we're on Crash Course.
Yep.
What I'm saying is Chris explained it is they were on it. It takes time to fix things,
Right.
and
That was a catastrophic failure.
that
Oh,
was
yeah, that wasn't-
that's something major. And
that was going to happen at some point.
yes,
Oh,
The fact that it happened at 6:30 or 5:45 or
Yeah.
whenever that failure occurred, it was awful timing because they'd been streaming somewhat all day. I mean, let's just call it all day.
Right.
They've been streaming, from the inspection lines and stuff all day, and we've been in that situation before. Remember when we had
Yes.
that mage well? That thing was going to go bad someday, and it happened to be when I was in the middle of using it at a show. So, we tried to give everybody the updates as best we could and relay that and keep everybody informed. But when you've got
And that's the thing
so
is, I
many
mean,
people that are asking the
I
same
think I think,
Sorry about that.
and I can understand people being upset.
I'm
I
sorry.
get
It
that.
just came on fast.
I get that, but my thing is, and like I said on Facebook, and usually I'm not the politically correct,
No, you're not.
logical one, but I mean,
I'll take that role.
if you really,
It's not Josh.
if you really sit back and think about it, that's the last thing that the Kansas Expo Center wants, Sam Williams wants, and obviously Crash Course Podcast wants, because they want everybody to be happy. Sam wants everybody to be happy. We want everybody to be happy because that's obviously what we're here doing. You know? So I mean, for guys to be getting, or people to be getting as upset they were, and there's really not
Well,
a
I think
need
people
for it.
think we were just sitting there. Like,
Yeah.
nah, man. It's like, no, trust me, there's a lot going on right here.
that was
Tore
the
our rig apart.
that was the sum of my whole point of this. My whole point of this is just be patient.
Yep.
Don't be negative right off the bat and everything else. Be patient because $1 million companies, $1 billion companies have technical issues all the time, and
Even Josh Decker Incorporated has troubles like
the
that.
bottom line is just sit back, be patient. The problem was solved and everything
And we
from
killed
what
it. I
we
mean,
understand, everything was excellent after that. So that was my whole point. I should have probably never brought it up, but
Oh no, you definitely hit the nail right on the
No,
head. It was a good
And
thing.
I
to
understand
address.
that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of users out there that almost kind of looked at it as, I just spent $50 for a week. If it's going to be like this all weekend, what did I waste my money on?
Yep, absolutely.
I've done this. I've done this song and dance before, where we get a live stream and
Yep.
something goes awry, and I know, I am nervous as hell when I push the go button.
Oh, yeah.
Because once those cars are coming onto the track, you have no parachute anymore.
No.
Right.
There's
Nope.
nothing to save you if that
Nope.
stream goes down, if something fails. And you were talking about this last thing that Kansas Expo Center wants, or Sam William wants. We don't want anybody to be upset.
No.
You want to know something else? That's the last thing that they expected.
Oh,
to have
absolutely.
go wrong.
oh, absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely. And it-
I'll start through the course of the day. I'll start 3 or 4 garbage streams that just go nowhere. Nobody can even find them. We've had people find them before.
Yes.
And those are some interesting techniques.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But these guys worked their asses
Oh,
off
yeah, they did.
to,
Well,
to,
they
to
don't.
fix it and to troubleshoot and
They
to get it up online and you guys are gonna have an
Yep.
awesome show the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it to you. What do you think, Chris Marquardt? Is it time to put a fork in it?
you know something? Yesterday, at this time, I had a baked potato.
Yes.
And that is the last thing I've eaten.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a fat guy, so I need some food. So
They're open down there.
yeah, well, I would like.
they're
not.
I would like.
They're not?
No.
I would like a little cheaper food and a
I thought
little
I smelled
different
that.
variety.
I'm
Maybe a
honest.
sub today.
Yeah, I would
Let's
love
go,
a sub.
please,
I haven't
let's
I haven't had a sub in 3 years.
I'm sorry.
No, longer than that.
I'm sorry.
Since 09. Shut up. No one even likes you.
Can you?
Why'd you come?
I'll buy you.
Trust me, I know.
I'll buy you lettuce, turkey, and some mayonnaise. You can just eat
I'll
it off the
explain-
plate.
I'll explain
You guys
to
are babbling. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll explain to you.
Please tune in later.
Yeah.
Ben is the man.
Get us out of here.
Thanks for straightening us out,
I'm
Ben.
going to explain to you the celiac situation. that
You already did.
No, can't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back here live. 7 o'clock is the start time for Cars on the Track. We'll give you a couple different updates here through the course of the day. Thanks for joining us here, and we will see you later on for night number 2 of Blizzard Bash 2015.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com. Overkill Derby products at OverkillDerby.com. Full Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone Nationals. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash 2015. Demo Derby Master. Reckless Abandoned Derby.